everyone, it is Danitza Nicklow again, and I'm back with Jess Lyons. Hi, Jess.
Hey, hi Danitza. Hi everyone.
So this is Mortgage Talk with Nitza and Jess. And again, I'm Danitza Nicklow with Berkshire Hathaway, the preferred realty out of Pittsburgh. And this is Jessica Lyons with Lyonsgate Funding. So today we are going to talk about what is the process to go from your first house or a current home in purchasing a new home. Lots of information out there for first-time home buyers. And we've talked about that in the recent couple of shows. But today I think, there's lots of steps that come in this process. What do I do with my current one? I got to sell before I can buy. How do I do this? What's first? What's second? So, hopefully we will answer some of those questions for you. And if we don't, as always, give us a call, send us a message. So, Jess, what do you see as one of the biggest questions that, step up home buyers have when they reach out to you?
Yeah, so a lot of times, Danitza, people don't really know where to start at. And, everybody says buying your first home is really like a tough process, but I actually think moving from your first home to your next home is a little more tough because you have to coordinate things a little bit better. And so I really think a lot of times when people call, they just don't really know the right way to go about getting started. So and it's going to be different for every person, Danitza. As you know, some people are going to need to sell their home in order to purchase a new home. But others have the luxury of being able to either pull the equity out of their current house before they sell it or get a bridge loan. There's some different options where they can take the money, or some people just have the extra money around that they can put their down payment down and be able to qualify with both houses. So the key is really talking to somebody to figure out what your options are, because you know as well as I do, it's very, very complicated whenever you're trying to move your family into one house and be out of another house all at the same time. It's very hard to get those pieces to go together. And honestly, from a standpoint of like offers and getting accepted, the preferential way for a seller is to have somebody that doesn't need a home sale contingency, which basically means the person can sell their old house after they buy the new house. Because from a risk assessment, it's a lot more risky of a proposition for a seller to take a home sale contingency than it is when somebody can just qualify for both houses without selling the other one.
Yeah, with a home sale contingency, you need to the buyer of the home has the option to say, hey, I've tried for 30 days, 40 days, and I can't sell it, so I got to back out of this purchase. And then the seller loses out on that and has to go back on the market. So it is tough. Sellers should know there are two different options that they can do with that, not just a home sale contingency, but they can do a home sale knockout contingency, which basically says, we'll take your contingency, but if we get another offer, because we're still allowed to market, you got 24 hours to show up or give up. So, if you can't figure that out in that short amount of time, you get knocked out. So for those buyers, you want to have a backup plan if you still have that contingency in place. So you mentioned a bridge loan. Is that one of the main ways that sellers do this, buyers do it?
Yeah, I mean, some people do bridge loans. A lot of my clients will do a home equity loan where we tap into the equity in their current home. It's a little more cost effective than a bridge loan. So the key to everything though, Danitza, is really time frame and how much time you have available to get everything coordinated. So as always, to plan ahead and talk to someone like myself or yourself ahead of time before you really want to start getting the process going is really key, because if we have time, we can do a lot of different things. If we don't have time, we're limited in what we can do. But yeah, I think like the bridge loan, the home equity loan, some people will borrow against their retirement, and then when they sell their existing house, they pay back that loan. Sometimes people will just, take money out of their savings, and then once again, when they sell their house, they'll put that money back into their savings. So it just really all depends on the individual and what they feel is probably the best. But and also it just depends on their equity position too, because that's going to make a huge difference. I mean, sometimes people don't have the equity in the home, and these might not be options at all. So it really is going to be a case by case kind of basis. But I think the key is getting in touch with someone like myself, where we're able to run through the scenarios, talk about, what your goal is, what your time frame is, and kind of get a plan together just to figure out what's going to get you into that house with the least amount of money. Sometimes we'll have people go in too where they'll do the 5% down, which is the minimum required on a conventional if you already own an existing home. And then whenever they sell their existing house, we'll take the equity from that house and do something called a recast, where let's just say they get 50,000 from the sale of their house. They go to the mortgage company and say, hey, we have this money we want to put down. Can you recalculate our monthly payment based off of the new down payment that we're putting into it? So the loan amount might go from 200 to 150, and now their monthly payment's going to go down because the loan amount's lower. So that's a really nice option too if people don't have time to get like a home equity or a bridge loan. Doing the smaller down payment and then just doing the recast after their other house sells, it's a great option.
So most of those, pulling the money or using the equity, that all applies a lot to the down payment, closing cost, the initial purchase.
Yep.
A big key factor that you have to look into though is, qualifying for both mortgages at the same time. So if somebody
Yes.
can't do that because of debt or income, there still are other options, correct, that we can look into where you can still buy and sell at the same time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it is very doable. We do it all the time. But I mean, some people are just in a situation where they do need to sell their house that they currently own in the morning, and then they close on the new house in the afternoon. And the great news is when you have a great realtor like Danitza helping you, she can work with the sellers to try to coordinate things to make it easier of a transition to get your stuff from your existing home into the new home. There's all kinds of different things that can be done by the realtors to kind of make the process of figuring out how to make all the pieces come together and get out of one house and into the new house the same day, because it is a little bit complicated. But if you got the right person working for you, they can get that all solved. So it's completely, in the last few years, we didn't see as many home sale contingencies because it was such a tough market with competition. But I definitely think now, Danitza, we're probably seeing more of that because sellers are more flexible. If their house has been sitting, they're open to the options that are being presented. So that wasn't really the case for a few years just because there were so many options, and, obviously they were going to take the best terms for themselves. So things have shifted a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Market is constantly shifting. Somebody just asked me yesterday, how is it? What's going on with it? And I said, in my opinion, it's looking up for everybody. There's some more houses coming on the market. Interest rates are lower than they had been. So that means buyers are coming out again. So which means sellers can do more. So, everybody's kind of benefiting right now in this. And, hopefully some of our viewers here are benefiting from all of our good information. So again, we'll just, kind of close up on, real important that communication is key to start. Whether it's you talk to the mortgage lender or you talk to myself first, it's going to be a team effort all the way from the initial questions all the way to that moving, whether, like Jess said, it's the getting out and getting in all in the same day. So what is the, key thing you would want buyers, sellers to remember?
I just think your best key thing to remember is like if you're really considering to talk to somebody as soon as possible, because you're by all means not obligated to anything by talking to somebody. All it's going to do is give you the knowledge to empower you to make the best decisions for yourself. So, a lot of people hesitate, but just talking to somebody doesn't mean that you have to have your credit run. We can actually do soft pulls now, Danitza, so it won't even impact the credit at all. There's a lot of different things, but I think so many people hesitate, and I think it's a real disservice to themselves to not find out the information
Mhm.
as soon as they can, just so that they can prepare themselves and make the right decisions. Because it just really puts you behind the eight ball whenever you're trying to scramble at the last second. You say, "Oh my God, my dream house just came on the market. We weren't ready to move, but now we're going to move." And everybody else loves that house too. And you got to make decisions super quick. So if you have the feeling that you're going to want to move, or thinking, even if it's a year out, it is never too soon to talk to somebody, just to kind of get a game plan together and get the information to kind of understand what kind of options you have, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, and you made me think too that even if you're not ready to move, keep an eye on what your value of your house is, because it's always fluctuating. So if you ever get an offer or know somebody, me, just ask for what's called a CMA, comparative market analysis, and it keeps you up to date on the current value compared to other houses that are being sold or on the market near yours. So as always, this was a lot of good information provided from Jess. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're
Um,
welcome.
and we will see you next week, but as always, we're available. Give us a call, send us a message, a text, comment below. All of our contact information will be down below. Subscribe so you continue to get the updates for the new videos, and we'll be back with you next week with another great topic. So we will see you then. Thank you again so much, Jess.
Hey, thank you. Have a good day, everybody.